talk with everybody. If you make me
will you negotiate with criminals? Will you negotiate with bandits?
Rufai, in uniting the country, anybody who wants peace, I'll talk with him. I'll negotiate with him. Anybody who wants war will go to war.
So you will negotiate with criminals and bandits?
Remember, Rufai, I will discuss with anybody who wants peace. Anybody can say, I've changed. I want peace. I was lecturing doing a lecture in Summit Church on Saturday. I told them how I visited a university in America where the entire faculty is people who came out from prison. From the dean of the faculty, who told me he spent 28 years in prison, to the registrar, who told me he spent 25 years, all the professors there spent years in prison for one offense or the other. So if you say you want to change and be part of this new Nigeria we're trying to build that is possible, yes. If you don't want to be part of it, well, we have reached a point where we have to tell ourselves the truth. If people have decided we can no longer have a peaceful country, that's why I said I will unite the country. I will make sure that nobody is left behind. No tribe is left behind. There will be inclusiveness. We'll show love. We'll show care for everybody.
Okay, let's talk about it.
P2B, Mr. P2B is the next president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We are confident of that. Nigerians know. That is why they don't want him to be in the ballots. Thank God that he's not in the ballots. He's the next president of Nigeria. I'm telling you in confidence. Mark my word today. Mr. P2B is the next president of Nigeria, Federal Republic of Nigeria. Even Tinubu knows about this. That's why they were frustrating him being on the ballots. Even the whole thing that is happening in the party is also targeted towards stopping him from becoming the president of Nigeria. But it's only God that gives power. And this is his time. Nigerians are prepared to make sure that Nigeria is rescued. See banditry, terrorism, see what's happening in this country, see suffering, people are dying. So nobody can see all these kind of things happening in this country. I will say, let's return APC. No, God forbid. So they know. Tinubu is aware that P2B is his next president. He's going to hand over to P2B. He knows. That's why he wanted to see how he can frustrate it. But good enough that with people like Sheirk Dixon, the NDC national leader of this party, we're able to have a platform that P2B and Kwangwaso is flagging. These are people in this country that will know that people support them organically. They don't need to give you $1 to support them. People believe what they can do and what they can offer.
Nomination done by my colleagues, my fellow contenders. They buried the ambition to make sure I clink these tickets. I really and sincerely appreciate the efforts and what they've done today. And it is what they've done on 29th of May 2026. I want to make it very clear that the sacrifices, their sacrifices and the sacrifices of all wonderful good people of Ama.
Welcome, sir. Recently, we saw the NDC presidential aspirant, Mr. Peter Obi himself, saying that he is going to dialogue with the like of Sheikh Gumi and agitators in Nigeria. Those are agitating in different levels, and Sheikh Gumi and the rest. Do you think this agitation or this dialogue with Sheikh Gumi will bring an end to insecurity in Nigeria? Or should dialogue even be the first approach to this particular insurgency? Or should Peter Obi even dialogue with the likes of Sheikh Gumi even in the first place?
Yes, let me just say that Obi need to tell us the type of dialogue he's actually talking about. Whether the dialogue he's talking about is to bring all the parties together and possibly announce the breakup of the country. You know, that is another angle, because we know I will have various types of dialogue. So depending on the one he's actually choosing, anything outside breakup, we will not see it as a dialogue. We will see it as a political statement, to launch himself more deeper into the consciousness of the security challenges in Nigeria. But that notwithstanding, a lot of people might want to disagree with Obi. A lot also want to, agree with him. Because if you look at Obi's statement clearly, you know that this statement, what he's actually talking about is pure, using diplomatic approach. Try to get the consciousness of both the South and the North, try to speak to various parties, try to see, feel their pulse, and try to know actually what is the problem. But Obi should also be careful not to be seen to be working for the North. Because by the time you are being pushed to a corner of trying to negotiate from the fear angle, it becomes extremely dangerous on the context of trying to because the people who are threatening the security of this country are mostly the Fulani, you understand, the Fulani jihadists and the rest of them.
First of all, I'd like to you said is Peter Obi bringing together these parties to dialogue for a total breakup. What do you mean by that? By Peter Obi, is he trying to bring a dialogue so as to talk about the breakup? Peter Obi, I think from what he's saying, he's trying to say he wants to unite, dialogue in a way to bring a unity, but you are talking about breakup.
Yes, because we are talking about dialogue. Dialogue comes in different forms. You understand? I know a lot of Nigerians who don't want to hear that because they are expecting that they should go to that extreme of because he wouldn't want to tell me that it's actually very easy to get the Yoruba agitation, or it's almost very easy to dialogue with Biafra movement, or I think it's only easy to look at the jihadists from the North, who has international support, who has more than 5,700 thousands of military and different kinds of sects. And which sect is Obi going to dialogue with, but that's why a lot of opinionists, it was a lot of people who are trying to feast on and digest properly what Obi actually mean by that. We'll look at it that it was purely a throw of of a man who feel that we need to get the support, or who want to negotiate from the angle of fear or not from the angle of confrontation, So, but if Obi has come to tell the whole world that if he has given them an option of peace on the table and they dare not go and they dare go against it within 24 hours, within 48 hours, within a week, within a month or thereafter, that he is decisively going to go after them, that is another angle where people will say, okay, there are options of them to surrender. But he's not talking about surrender. And remember too, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is also already placing the issue of dialogue on the table already. But the fact is that, are they actually ready for that? Since the mission has not been completed. That's what Obi should actually be asking himself, because this thing is tied to religion, it is tied to an ideology. It's not about total freedom, it's about conquest. It's not about secession, it's about oppression. It's not about negotiation from the point of marginalization, or from the point of not being able to be carried along for national interest. Right. So it will be extremely difficult for Obi to understand clearly, or to Nigeria to understand, is actually going to be very decisive to make sure that he breaks the backs of these jihadists, at the end of the day. But if you at the end of the day, you put up a gun battle there, and you say come to the table, and they said no, and they insisted it must be no, and when you brought Gumi, and Gumi was not able to convince them, knowing fully well that Gumi knows the mission is purely conquest, takeover, jihad, and possibly these are people who believe that that the non-Christians, non-Muslims should not rule over them, and that it is haram for you to do that, and that any non-Muslim who refuse to convert should be put to death. So those kind of radicalized concepts and extremism and ideology, how would Obi intend to bring them to the table and say no, stop? Because for me now, I wouldn't want Obi should just go ahead and do his own thing, his own way, leave Gumi out of it, leave, I don't regard Sunday Igbo. If there's anybody that's representing, a Yoruba nation agitation, that's okay. But, purely, IPOB is bigger than what Obi is talking about at the moment, because people does not want to stay in Nigeria anymore, because after 4 years in Obi, and they can even give Obi space, for that 4 years alone, because Obi, maybe they might have some level of sympathy or some level of respect for Obi, because Obi is seen to be very incorruptible. And I might have made some certain standard, but there's a situation that a nation is being run by Sharia constitution, and everybody need to obey that, and they came and find out that some people are not actually obeying it. That's the problem they're having with Biafrans already, because they know that Biafrans are not playing according to the Sharia rule. And if Obi is going to introduce Sharia in Biafran land, how would that look at by saying that Gumi, should be involved? He wants to dialogue with Gumi, and Gumi is possibly proposing Sharia in Biafra land. How would Obi accept that? Would Obi be able to market such a radicalized ideology? Because anything, if you're not a Muslim, you cannot oppress Sharia. You need to be a Muslim to oppress Sharia, because Sharia is the only law that controls the Muslims. So every Muslim operates a Sharia. So we must understand that.
All right. So now, from your own perspective, now that you are saying Peter Obi should be more careful, what about if Gumi, they bring in Sharia law and all of the rest? So now this leads me to ask this question: that what truly is the way forward?
I've always said it, if Peter Obi is talking about genuine dialogue, not political dialogue, not interest-based dialogue, and not persuaded dialogue, there should be kind of a review of the constitution that allow every state and every region to operate, as a confederate unit to start with. I can also tell you the issue of police, state police cannot work in this regard. Anything that will bring the structures of Nigeria, independently will not work. What Nigeria needs is independent structures, as in zones and in states, operating independently without the central or central power, interfering in it. That's another option, and by the time you do that, you'll be able to test it on the lab, you go to the laboratory and test it. But Nigeria will not, the Northerners will not have it, because, and the North and South does not have a legislative balance in the Senate to champion or to legislate on such issues. So it will totally collapse. So while we are advocating and soliciting that the global community, the global world, should look at the political situation in Nigeria and look at how they are going to prefer, make references to how best to come up with conflict resolution. But I can tell you, where we have over 7 dangerous, deadly, jihadist groups in Nigeria, I want to ask Obi, these people do not have a permanent leader, a known leader, or they have leaders, and most of their leaders came from foreign countries, and the aim is to continue like that. Gumi cannot speak for them. Even if Gumi is saying he's going to negotiate, the one that Gumi is going to negotiate, is the one maybe he knows, but of the one he does not know, which he claims that the federal government knows them. Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the rest of them knows them. Buhari knows them. So they can only play on the sentiment that Obi is just a man who is just innocent, who is incorruptible, and maybe decide to give him that space, to operate within 4 years, and they will return to the conquest plan. So if we might tell ourselves the truth, that if Obi can actually come together, and should not be forced to implement Sharia in Biafran land. That's what we're saying, come 2027, as part of the negotiation with Gumi, because Gumi have nothing to offer again. Gumi believe in the religion of conquest. There's no doubt about that, So if from that angle, Obi is talking about that regard. I think the best thing he needs to do is to tell them a very straightforward, response or answer. That gentlemen, be it whatever you call yourself, anybody that want to be part of Nigeria should raise up his head hand. After all, before now, none of their founding fathers, including Tafawa Balewa, Awolowo, and Azikiwe, believed in one Nigeria. Up till now, go and look at their past comments in 1948 or thereabout. Go and look at what they said about Nigeria. They never believed, they never wanted. But Britain did it. So Obi should be careful at this point not to promote, not to be seen that he goes against the rules of the North, because he has already promised them that he's going to negotiate Sharia, with them. And if he didn't do it, then that was going to trigger another crisis. Obi should come up and tell them clearly that since we don't want this entity again, let everybody go their separate ways. I think that is the only dialogue and solution to Nigeria's unfortunate foundational problem.